Thanks, Charlotte. So we get a good shot of General Bow there on screen. He's been well backed into $3.60. Michael Walker, who would you like to be riding here?
I think I'm with you, BZ. General Bow. I just know he's a horse that can quicken off a quick tempo, and just the way he's trialled the other day or jumped out the other day, I just think he's going really, really well. And 53 kilos is right up his alley.
Damien Lane doesn't get that light too often,
Agreed.
but on the big day, he's very trim after running the marathon last Sunday. We shouldn't be too far from the loading process getting underway. There is Damien Lane with General Bow. They're moving in. Let's go to Matt Hill.
Damien Lane, who won the Caulfield Cup on Mare de Glace 4 years ago, rides break-up later on in the Cup, about to join them. General Bow going forward. Getting set, $2.50 Spacewalk ahead of General Bow at $3.90. Has had decent backing, $4 to $3.60 on books as well. Lofty Strike on resumption at $4.60 and Generation at $6.60. Indian Pacific goes in, DOULL joining them. So Generation and Lofty Strike are the final two. Here's Generation with Craig Williams. There's a multiple Caulfield Cup winner, Craig Williams. Generation goes in. So Lofty Strike with Damien Oliver already on the board in his final Caulfield Cup day as a rider, and Spacewalk, the favourite, goes in. Field is set for the McCafe Sprint. 1,000 metres, gates are back and racing, and Lofty Strike stumbled there. He stumbles going back to the tail of the field. Jumping well was Indian Pacific, straight to the lead from DOULL, Generation. Spacewalk out wider, then General Bow and Lofty Strike. After 200 metres, it's Indian Pacific the leader. 3/4 of a length and controls it at the moment from DOULL second. 1.5 lengths Generation. General Bow fourth the fence, and then came Lofty Strike and Spacewalk to its outside. Coming up towards the corner, 600 metres to go. Indian Pacific just in front of DOULL, Generation. General Bow snatched up behind them. Spacewalk's the widest, and Lofty Strike pushes it out even deeper into the straight. They sprint for home at the 300. Generation up to DOULL. Indian Pacific next the inside, and Spacewalk running on. Lofty Strike still last. Generation up to DOULL. Here's Spacewalk the outside. Made a line of 300 metres to go. Spacewalk up to DOULL. Spacewalk and DOULL. They're going to hit it together. DOULL has kicked and beaten Spacewalk. Generation third from General Bow, Indian Pacific and Lofty Strike.
A big result here for Anthony Mithen's Rosemont Stud and the Victorian Stallion Alliance, who've been investing so much money in high quality colts, and they get a Group 2 win under the belt of the son of Snitzel in DOULL here, who's only just recently joined the Annabelle Neesham stable in a driving finish, holds out Spacewalk. Both horses having come via runs in benchmark races in the first week of October in Sydney. It was the return run for DOULL on the Rosehill meeting a fortnight ago. It was in a benchmark 7.8 over 1,100 metres, carried 61 kilos on that occasion, had the 8 kilo weight drop this afternoon, and as a result, plenty of hugs and kisses being dished out between Anthony Mithen, Annabelle Neesham, Ryan McAvoy, who's also a key part of the Rosemont operation. DOULL defeats Spacewalk, who was game and closing late. They nabbed Generation after they basically spent the race running in 2 lines of 3, the half dozen, and will Lofty Strike. Not sure what to make of the performance. He looked like he was going to perhaps be in need of the run ahead of a tilt at a champion sprint. He dwelled at the start, and there was sort of trouble thereafter for the rest of it. But the story here is DOULL for Annabelle Neesham and the Alliance in the McCafe Sprint.
It certainly was. It was about DOULL, who's been well placed. He's been able to get back to his best and record a valuable victory. And when you're trying to make a stallion, you'd love to have Spacewalk chasing you, because, look, I was giving him the benefit last preparation. I thought maybe he's a more brilliant type, maybe keeping him fresh. But it was the same old Spacewalk when the race was there to be won. Let's hear from Annabelle Neesham, who's done a terrific job with DOULL.
Oh, well done, Annabelle. $1 million+ colt, and you've delivered a Group 2 win. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and I have to say full credit to Ryan and the Rosemont team, because I had him in a benchmark 78 in Sydney, and they said, you better throw him in this Group 2. And anyway, we thought it looked like it was going to map really nicely, but he's just the most beautiful colt. We haven't had him all that long, but obviously the Freedmans have done a phenomenal job with him because he's just so professional. And yeah, just great that he's got his head in front, and hopefully he can just build from here.
And he got his head in the game last start, didn't he? That showed you that he might get to what we've always thought he was capable of.
Yeah, he's obviously always showed well above average ability, but he's just matured into a lovely horse. He's got the most beautiful temperament, and he's obviously got that really good tactical speed as well. So, yeah, great ride from Mickey D as well. We've had a bit of luck with him.
Well, Anthony Mithun will be ecstatic. Ryan McAvoy as well. It's an unbelievable win for Rosemont.
Yeah, fantastic. They've been good supporters of mine recently, so hopefully we can keep building from here.
Well done.
Thank you.
Some incredible shots there from varying angles of where DOULL has just lifted himself off the canvas. Generation went past him, Spacewalk went past him, and he was just like the little engine that was plugging away on the fence, and he stuck on well and got his head down when it counted. Okay, it's not a vintage Group 2 sprint. The bubble is clearly burst on Lofty Strike here today, but that's not going to matter for Michael D. He's now with Nigel.
Group 2, McAfee Caulfield sprint goes the way of DOULL with Michael D aboard for Annabelle Nish, and we just had a look at a couple of different angles. He was clearly headed, showed some fight. What did you make of his effort?
Oh, look, exactly that. He certainly showed some fight. I thought we were going to run a nice second or even third, but to his credit, he dug deep, really wanted it today and fought on hard.
The race was pretty much 2 lines of 3. You feel like at every stage you're in the right line and some of the others had to do a little bit more work?
Yeah, he began to come into a rhythm sort of down the side, and then he could sense the horse outside. It just fired him up a touch, so that probably took away his finish a little bit, but look, we're obviously in the right place to have him there and be fighting out the finish.
Big result for all concerned. Well done.
Cheers.
We'll have a look at the start because it was quite messy with Lofty Strike and Spacewalk, so only a small field. You can see he just dipped there, Lofty Strike, and he rolled in on top of Generation, so that may be some excuses for his poor performance. Uncharacteristic the way that he's come out of the gates, and Michael, as a rider, there's not a lot that you can sort of do when a horse just basically goes down on his knees.
Yeah, we can't, and hopefully Lofty Strike, he's pulled up good in the chest. Usually, I've had horses before on me do it, BZ, and when they go down like that, they spread. They go, one leg goes one way and one goes the other, and they end up tearing the chest muscle. So hopefully for Julius and the team, that is fine.
We'll pick up in the concluding stages this overhead shot. So what about the momentum Jamie Carr's got here on the outside on Spacewalk? Punters around the country that are on it just saying, home you go, Jamie, go your good thing, cruising past them on the outside. And at this stage, he's got a head in front and maybe even starting to get a neck. And then he's just curled up as the inside horses kick back and been very brave on the inside. So ahead by a long neck, 57.48 the time here, race number 6 as we go to the next event in Adelaide.